to call this meeting of the Show Little City Council to order. Show that all council members are present with the exception of Councilman Hatch and Councilman Clark could be asked to be excused tonight. The invocation tonight will be brought to us, that sounds pretty official. Vice Mayor Kakavas, Pledge Allegiance, Councilman Adams, if you'd like to stand and join us, please.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful to be here tonight to represent our community. We're thankful for the moisture that we've had today and ask that I bring some more. Please bless our community with health and strength. Bless the council tonight as we deliberate issues according to the agenda, that we can do so in a meaningful manner. Please bless all those armed services that they may return home in peace and safety. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, Councilman Adams, appreciate that. Thank you all for joining us. I'll try to get through this agenda quickly. We should be out of here by, I would say 9:30. So be paid. What? You're not going to stay for the whole thing? Next item on the agenda is call to the public. Any citizen desire to speak on a matter that is within the jurisdiction of the city may do so at this time. Comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person and shall be addressed to City Council as a whole. Issues raised but limited to those within the jurisdiction of the City Council. I have one, Michelle Ralston. Please, I didn't pronounce that right.
Yes, you did.
I did?
Mm-hmm. Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor Leach, council members. My name is Michelle Ralston, and I'm here from Senator Mark Kelly's office. I am an outreach and constituent services representative for Northern Arizona, and I am assigned to Navajo County and to Apache County. It is very important to the senator that he has staff assigned throughout the state to listen and to learn about local needs and issues. I would like to take a few moments to explain my role of outreach and constituent services from the senator's office. First, outreach involves communication and collaboration. For example, the senator is most interested in a successful rollout of the American Rescue Plan and wants to ensure that local residents receive the help they need and deserve. And so continuing communication between his office and your jurisdiction about the rollout progress can benefit everybody. As information becomes available that could be important to your jurisdiction, I will ensure it is communicated directly to you in a timely manner. If it is an urgent matter, I will be sure to call. The broadband issue is another example of collaboration. As the pandemic lifts, there's new funding available for broadband upgrades from a variety of sources, and as you know, Navajo County is currently conducting a comprehensive broadband needs assessment. On the senator's behalf, I will be attending planning meetings in cities and counties to report back to him on progress and provide any new information to you that could be helpful to you, your community, and your constituents. Second, casework is the main work that members of the Senate provide to constituents who request assistance. Our office defines casework as constituent questions and concerns involving federal agencies. If in the case of a constituent has a question that they bring to us, but it belongs at the state or local level, we will certainly refer back to the local jurisdiction. And then on constituent questions that involve the judicial system can only be referred to public legal assistance or to a judicial oversight entity. Constitutionally and ethically, the senator's office cannot interfere in matters of the judicial system. We are here to listen and to learn, and to help local jurisdictions and our constituents obtain answers to their questions. I will send our casework link and postal address to you. And I also am preparing a little PowerPoint that will be helpful in whenever you might have a constituent who has a federal question, a federal agency question. And I'll be sending that to each one of you. And then finally, last December, right after Senator Kelly was sworn into office, he made the following statement. It is my honor to represent Arizona in the United States Senate. I've faced challenges serving our country at war and in space. And as our country faces new challenges, I'm ready to serve again. The legacy of this Arizona Senate seat, once held by Senator John McCain, is one of independence. I am committed to working with Republicans and Democrats and using science, data, and facts to craft policies that will help us overcome our greatest challenges, including tackling the coronavirus pandemic, which we are doing a good job of so far, and getting our economy back on track. It's only through hard work and compromise that we will be able to create a more prosperous path forward for Arizona and for our country. That work has already begun, and today I am humbled to continue it as a United States Senator. And one of the requests that the city of Show Low has made to Senator Mark Kelly's office is a request for a letter of support for the Scott Ranch Road project, which apparently has languished for about 15 years. Is that correct? That long? Anybody remember? Ed remembers, yes. And so I have a copy of the letter of support with me this evening. The official copy will be coming in the next couple of days, and the senator wishes you well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
You can give that to the clerk if you were going to leave it. Pretty exciting to think that Scott Ranch Road may come to fruition. We thought we'd never be around to see that happen. So
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate that. All righty. Next item on the agenda is special presentation and recognition of retiring city employees. Mr. Cupp. Did she not know we had 2 more hours yet to go? What happened? Lock that door. Yes, you too, Allie. You have to stay.
I'll only take one of those hours. So on behalf of the city and the Public Works Department, I'd like to thank Court Carpenter and Jim Anthony for their years of service. Court has worked here since 1994, and Jim has worked here since 2001. As you can see, both Court and Jim didn't really want any fanfare with their departure. They both performed their duties quietly most of the time and preferred to be behind the scenes, and they continue to do so tonight. Most of Court's service years have been in the water department. He has served as the leader of this team for over 2 decades. The efficiency and cleanliness of our water production facilities are Court's legacy. He has also been a mentor to his team, and as a result, he is leaving behind a very capable crew. Since Court joined the city, he has helped deliver a lot of water. I've got a number here, and it's a pretty amazing number. I actually took our records back as far as I could look, and then I kind of did some guesswork back into the past, but somewhere between 14 and 15 billion gallons of water since 1994 has been delivered to our customers, and most of that has been under Court's leadership. Jim Anthony has served as a construction inspector for the engineering team for over 20 years. He has provided expertise and direction during construction of miles and miles of water lines, sewer lines, and streets. He has also worked on dozens of subdivisions and commercial developments. Jim took a lead role in the city's annual slurry seal project. In his years at the city, we have placed over 5 million square yards of slurry seal. This afternoon, I asked Jim if there was anything he would like me to say on his behalf, and he said, "Why do they have to talk about me?" So with that, I'll leave it there, but I want to say thanks again to Jim Court for their service, and I wish they would have made it, but they got their wish.
Well, I got a couple, or we have a couple clocks here for him, and on behalf of the city of Show and city council, Jim Anthony, city of Show 2001, 2021, we'll make sure we get these to them, but I'm going to put it right there so that everybody can see it. And then another one for Corey Carpenter, 1994, 2021. never thank them enough, that's for sure. It seems like anywhere you go in the city, you see both of their faces somewhere. And Corey's been around for a long time, so we appreciate their service very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, guys. I know they're not here, and I'm pretty sure they're not watching, but maybe they'll watch it someday. You never know. All righty, next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. Is there any items that need to be? Oh,
Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Brad. I seen you get up, but I didn't want to talk to you right now, apparently. Next item on the agenda is introduction of Public Safety Regional Telecommunication Manager, Catherine Salazar. Sorry about that. The way to introduce you, just go right by you, right? You'll get used to it if you come to any of these meetings. They're pretty much like that.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. Appreciate you having us here tonight. So we have hired a new communications manager for our Regional Communications Center. As most of you know, we have a regional center. We dispatch for 3 separate police departments, 5 fire districts, and we cover about an area of about 3,000 square miles. That center presently is handling about 200,000 calls for service, 911 calls, incidents, etc. per year. Very busy. So Catherine Salazar comes to us after having served 21 years with Scottsdale Police Department's Communications Center. She served as a dispatcher, trainer, supervisor, and training coordinator. During her time with Scottsdale, she served in a number of roles such as field liaison, as post instructor, and special events supervisor. She's coming to us highly recommended by Scottsdale's management team, and her peers hold her and her performance in high esteem. Catherine is married, and her husband is a retired homicide detective, also from Scottsdale. Between them, they have 6 adult children and 3 grandchildren, with a 4th on the way. After visiting and vacationing in Show Low for many years, they finally decided to make Show Low their permanent home. So with that, I'll introduce Catherine Salazar.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here tonight. This is a first for me. I've never been before City Council before. My husband and I are very excited to be here. We've come up here for summers for years now. And we've always said, we're going to retire to Scott and we're going to retire to Show Low. And I wasn't ready to retire yet. He's already retired. So we just moved our scheduling up a few years. So I'm honored to be here, and I've loved everybody I've met so far. They've all been very welcoming and friendly. So I know I made the right choice, and I'm really glad that Chief Provost and staff gave me a chance at this job. So I'm very honored to be here, and it's very nice to meet all of you.
Well, welcome. Appreciate it very much.
I bet she thought she was escaping the heat.
Have you gone to our mall yet? Shopping? How's that working out from Scottsdale to here?
Pretty much.
That is pretty much the mall. So you found it. Good. Okay, next item on the agenda now is a consent calendar. Is there any items that need to be pulled or discussed? If not, bear with me. This is the most I've ever seen in a while. So items on the consent calendar we'll consider is consideration of resolution number R2021-09, adopting an annual policy and prescribing procedures, consideration of a renewal agreement with White Mountain Meals on Wheels and managing of the Show Low Senior Center, consideration of a renewal agreement with Show Low Historical Society, consideration of agreement with Show Low Main Street, consideration of a renewal agreement with the Show Low Chamber, consideration of approval of a list of city-owned vehicles, exempt vehicles from registration requirements, consideration of approval of a final plat for Bison Pass, consideration of acceptance of North 8th Street, East Tuning water line replacement, consideration of acceptance of 11th Avenue water line, consideration of approval annual purchase order for fiscal year 2021-22, consideration of adoption of resolution number R2021-10, designing the chief fiscal officer for the city of Show Low, consideration of resolution number R2021-12, reestablishing policy for use of social media by city departments, consideration of resolution number R21-14, approving intergovernmental agreement with Navajo County Public Health, consideration of approval of amendment purchase price for Show Low City vehicles, consideration of resolution number R21-15, accepting the coronavirus local fiscal recovery fund, Few more. Consideration of resolution number R 2021-16, approve an intergovernmental agreement with Arizona Department of Water Resources. Consideration of cooperative purchase agreements with Maricopa County, Yavapai County, City of Tucson, City of Chandler, and State of Arizona. And considerations of the minutes of the Shoal City Council joint study session and the regular meeting on June 1st, 2021. I'll entertain a motion. We have a motion by Councilman Alsop, second by Councilman Wilson. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is new business. Consideration of application submitted by Denise Wiseman Stowe for special event liquor license for Battle of the Bands and Food and Vans Frontier Fields. Ms. Hall.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Denise Wiseman Stowe, representing Show Low Main Street, submitted an application for a special event liquor license for the Battle of the Bands and Food Vans at Frontier Fields, scheduled for September 4th. This event is sponsored by Show Low Main Street and will start at 12 p.m. and end by 10 p.m. Proceeds from the event will benefit Show Low Main Street and their projects to beautify downtown Show Low. The license will allow Show Low Main Street to sell beer and wine during the event. Event participants will enter and leave Frontier Fields through one entrance. An existing 6-foot chain link fence surrounds the entire area. Alcohol will be sold in the yellow area marked B on the map that was provided with the application, and participants will be allowed to consume the alcohol throughout the fields. Additional security personnel will be stationed at the main Frontier Fields entrance exit and at the entrance exit to the beer garden. In addition, they will patrol and monitor the fields to ensure no alcohol is brought in or leaves the premises, and that there is no underage consumption. Security will be provided by the Arizona Rangers. The Show Low Police Department performed a background check on the applicant and found nothing that would preclude approval of this special event liquor license. The application and action taken by council will be forwarded to the Department of Liquor Licenses and Control, and unlike regular liquor license, the council's decision is final for such an application. And Ms. Stowe is here if anybody has any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Alsop.
First, I have a little thing. Talked to them earlier. They're definitely going to have a lot of food there and some vans. If you were there a year ago, because we had to skip last year because of COVID, but we had a lot of people stand in line, so there's going to be a lot more food vans there. So we hopefully don't have to stand in line. So I'm looking for a great day for you guys again. I wish we didn't have to lose last year's, but I know it's a big event for you and you raised a lot of money on that. So I move to approve the application submitted by Denise Wiseman Stoll for a special permit liquor license for the Battle of the Bands and Food Bands on September 4th at Frontier Fields.
Got a motion? Need a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passed 4-1. All righty, next item on the agenda is consideration, this is a good one, of resolution number R 2021-13 approving the sale and execution and delivery of excise tax revenues obligations, Series 2021, evidencing and appropriating interest of the owners, therefore, in a purchase agreement from the city, approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of such purchase agreement and other necessary agreements for such sale, authorizing to determine certain matters and terms with respect to the foregoing and declaring an emergency. Oh, boy. Mr. Johnson.
Can you repeat that in English, please?
I can't even, I already read it so many times. I can't, but you're going to explain it, so it's good.
And the motion's even better than the title. So, good evening, Mayor and council members. At the April 2021 council budget study sessions, city staff discussed the potential of issuing bonds for multiple streets projects. This financing opportunity would allow the city to catch up on some projects that have been delayed due to lack of funding. Staff also talked about the current financing environment and low interest rates. It was recommended that staff contact the placement agent to discuss the feasibility of bond issuance. Based on the information obtained, staff signed an engagement letter with Stiefel, which allows them to assess our financial situation. Once the engagement letter was executed, staff met with Mark Reeder of Stiefel, who has been retained by the city to serve as placement agent in connection with the transaction being contemplated, along with the city's bond counsel, Michael Cafiso, with Greenberg Traurig. The current interest rate is estimated to be approximately 1.5%. As discussed prior to tentative budget adoption on June 1st, 2021, staff has increased the unanticipated line item in the fiscal year 22 budget to accommodate this funding opportunity in the fiscal year 22 budget. A project list has been attached as Exhibit A. The financing documents referenced in the resolution have been sent to the council for review. Staff recommends approving Resolution R 2021-13 and authorizing the mayor and staff to move forward with the funding process. I'm available for any questions.
Anybody got any questions or comments? Councilman Alsop.
Thank you. Question, I know in the last 4 or 5 years, whenever we do a budget, we always go down and try to get rid of our debt. And I think we've got that as far as down as we can possibly do on everything that we have on our line items.
Yeah, correct. There are still a few outstanding bonds or loans, but they have prepayment penalties. So we've really been focusing on the public safety retirement the last few years and paying extra towards that.
Another question I have is there any way that we can roll any of those bonds into this interest rate, or are they stuck in the interest rate that they're at?
Yeah, so the prepayments, the same as the refinancing, you can't really touch them until 2024, I think is the year. So we'll look at it when that time comes around. But for now, we can't do anything like that.
And how long is these bonds projected for?
So the placement agent put out 2 options for private placement. One was for 5 years and one was for 7. So these will both be, this will be a short-term bond, I guess is the answer to that.
So both of them are at the 1.5%?
Well, there's actually just one, but they put out 2 scenarios, one in 5 years and one in 7 years. So depending on the rate and the terms, that'll help us decide which one to choose.
You know, I just wanted to bring that up because, I mean, every time this council gets together and we do our budget, we make sure that we try to pay off our debt as much as we can ahead of time. So if this is going to be a debt that we're going to add on, I'm pretty sure that we're all going to be looking at that to try to get it paid off as fast as we can.
And that'll be something that staff and the council will consider because we'll get most likely multiple bids, and depending on which agency places the bid, part of that is what you can do as far as prepayments and early payments or early payoffs. So we'll consider all options when we look at the rates and how we can pay it off.
Thank you, Justin.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Justin.
Any other questions? Councilman Adams.
Make sure I understand. So there is, there could be a penalty for prepaying it off, like you're talking about, but it depends on the negotiation.
Yeah, typically we would probably just forego the prepayments or the early payments to avoid any penalties and just wait until we can make those without costing extra money to the city. Yep.
One more question.
Also.
The bonds that we're going to be getting and the work that has to be done on some of these streets, we're looking at a four-year before we get all these roads and streets done.
So on the project list, you have the years that they were scheduled in the CIP. So what this process will do will allow us to move those projects up. So they'll get done earlier than they would have. And they're also tied to sewer projects. We're currently looking at funding from WIFA for several sewer projects. So when the sewer projects are done, then we'll move to the streets and get them all done. So the sewer will be new, the water's already in good shape, and then the roads will be done.
So these 6 projects hopefully will be done with a year or a year and a half. Hopefully.
Yeah, a couple of years probably.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion. What, no, everybody's afraid to read that or what? Councilwoman Wilson.
I move to approve resolution number R 2021-13, providing for the sale, execution, and delivery pursuant to the first excise
tax trust agreement of an excise tax revenue, Series 2021, evidencing all of the interests of the holder thereof in installment payments of the purchase price to be paid by the City of Show Low, Arizona pursuant to the first excise tax purchase agreement, authorizing the completion, execution, and delivery with respect thereto, and agreements necessary or appropriate as part of the refinancing and paying related financing costs, delegating to the mayor, the city manager, and the finance director certain authority with respect to the purposes hereof, and declaring an emergency, authorizing the city manager to expend all necessary funds therefore.
Thank you. I got a motion. I'll go ahead and second that. All those in favor? All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Boy, that's a tongue twister. I don't understand it.
Comes straight from the bond attorney. Staff didn't write that.
I had that question a few times. I read that like 3 or 4 times. Like, wow, every time I read it, I got a little slower. All right, next item on the agenda is public hearing regarding final budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022, and proposed secondary property tax levy. Mr. Johnson.
So just to start off the public hearing, I'll do a quick presentation of the final budget. You'll recognize the number. This budget is basically unchanged from the tentative, $72,817,309. This is a refresher on what our public process has been working through the budget. We have a couple of town halls and lots of opportunities for the public to get involved. We also have all of our budget information online, so the public can get on there and look, and then we've made ourselves available as staff to answer any questions. And that brings us to tonight with the final budget adoption. This is a list of the goals and priorities that are used when staff and the council work together to build the budget. This is our adopted budget compared to the actual expenditures, historically going back to 2017. We are slightly higher this year, but we've got a couple of bonds that are included in that budget. And then we also have some funds coming from the federal government that we anticipate. And that's about 3.8 million. So that's why that's most of the increase. And then there are also some project capital carryovers in that number. This is a breakdown of the revenues. We have a beginning fund balance of 38% of that 85 million. And then operating revenues are 45.5%. This is the breakdown of the 45% of the operating revenues. Local taxes, 32.7%. State shared revenues, 13%. Intergovernmental and utility fees. And then the last larger one is the charges for service. This is a breakdown of expenditures by type. We have capital, which is 38% of our budget, 24 million. Personnel, 18.5, and operations, 13.1 million, or 20%. This is a breakdown of the general fund, how the money is spent within the general fund. The public safety at 35.6. Airports at 10.7, general operations 14, and facilities maintenance 9.4. This is a breakdown of our personnel by service area. Public safety 35%, community services 15, public works and utilities 18 and 15, and then general government at 13%. This is a breakdown of the capital by division or by fund. Streets, 6.7 million. Airport, 2.2 million. Wastewater, 2.1 million. And water at 4.8. And the council contingency was changed last year to 300,000, and we left that the same for fiscal year 22. And this is a breakdown of expenditures by service area. Public Works, 26.7%, general government, 25.3%, utilities, 22.9%, and public safety at 19.5%. Also in the public hearing tonight, we would like to address the Streetlight Improvement District. This is a property tax levy for everybody in the district combined of $200,000. In fiscal year 21, we have an actual of $220,000. This levy pays for utility costs associated with street and park lights. We do have a general fund subsidy of $15,000 placed in the budget. We have not needed to use that the last couple of years. Several years ago, we had a spike in our utility costs, and it caused the fund to be in a deficit balance. So we've added that $15,000 so we don't create any problems for the audit and creating a deficit balance. The tax rate has been unchanged since fiscal year 2016, and it's approximately $17.86 per year on a home that's has a valuation of $150,000. So we have the final budget adoption tonight, and then the council will adopt the secondary property tax levy at our next meeting on July 20th. I'm available for any questions.
Do we have any public first? No public?
Need to go into public.
You need to open a public
Oh.
hearing.
I'll open up this public hearing. Does anybody in the public want to talk?
That's Parks and Recreation is a big part of that, Aquatic Center. Yeah.
Any other
Justin,
comments?
would you go back to the reserves and show us how much was in reserves, please?
We'll close the public hearing first, I think, before we bring it back to the council.
Okay.
No other people from public? I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the council for comment. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Can you tell us how much is in reserves?
Yeah, so this presentation doesn't have a breakdown of the reserves. But I can tell you for the general fund, it's around $3 million, 3 months operating. The water fund is, I think, 4.8 million, 3 months operating. And the wastewater, around 2 million, and that's between 2 and 3 months operating. So a significant amount of reserves. And then the $1 million that is reserve that's required because of the passing of permanent base is also included in that.
And that 3-month reserve in each of those funds, that's been the city's goal, is to get all of those funds up to a 3-month reserve. So if something drastic happened.
We've been running at 2 months for probably 4 years, and then last year we got it to 3 months, except for wastewater, and then we maintained that for this year, fiscal year 20.
Thank you.
That's one also.
Thank you. Justin, can you go back to your first slide where the budget and actual expenditures? Hey, just for the public to understand or know, and with the budget of 72.8 million, a lot of that, like Justin said, is a lot of carryover for so we can work on the stuff that we didn't get done this year. That just carries over and makes that budget go higher. But I just want everybody to know that this council, we work together and talk and hash things out. The reason we have a budget this high and we have never spent our budget is we spend your tax money wisely. We don't go out and just do it because we want to do it. We do it because we think we're bettering the community for you, where you live, and for the people that comes into this community. So all the neat things that we had told to us about the downtown metal there with the fence and everything else, that's your taxpayers' money at work that we put together to think that it would be great for this community to have. And as we see it already, a lot of people really enjoy what we have done out there. And so we as a council really protect your money as much as we can. Even though it looks like it's a lot amount of money for what this community is, I guarantee you we will not spend our every dime of it. We have never done it, and I don't think we'll start it now. So that's just my 2 cents.
Thank you. Any other comments? We don't do a motion till D, is that correct? Okay, next item on the agenda, was that all?
Yeah, you just close the public hearing and go to the next item.
Close the public hearing. I already did once, I did it again. Consideration, next item on the agenda is consideration of resolution number R 2021-11, adopting the final budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, so I won't go through the staff summary. This is basically what we've already discussed. So if there are no further questions on the presentation, then we're ready for a motion.
Are there any questions on the budget? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Alsop.
I move to adopt resolution number R 2021-11, adopting the final budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022, an amount of $72,817,309.
Got a motion? Councilman Adams, second. All those in favor? All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Thank you. All right, at this time, the City Council will recess into a special meeting of the Show Low Bluff Community Facilities District Board to adopt the final budget for fiscal year 2021-22 for the district. And let me find the agenda. I'll call this meeting to order. Roll call. We're now. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgot you had to switch up. Thank you. Call this meeting to order. Roll call. We're all now board members. First item on the agenda is public hearing resolution number R 2020-02, adopting the final budget and setting the tax levy for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. Mr. Johnson.
Okay, thank you, board members. We have a presentation tonight for the final budget for the Show Low Bluff Community Facilities District. The district was formed by property owners of the district in 2005. It's a separate unit of government from the city of Show Low. The debt issued is required to be covered by the district's assessed value, and the benefit of that debt or all the infrastructure that was placed must be for the benefit of the district. And there was $2.9 million total issued with the debt retirement date of 2032. There were two separate funds, the special assessment bond and the general obligation bond. The general obligation bond was paid off in July of 2018, so we won't cover that tonight because it's already been taken care of. We'll take a look at the assessment. So in 2007, an assessment bond for $2,014,000 was issued. The annual debt service is $152,060. There are 227 parcels. Show Low Bluff Development Corporation owns 56% of those, and there's currently an unbudgeted reserve of $232,876. The beginning fund balance is $266,451, and there's an assessment billing of $130,783 due for fiscal year 22. In June, there's a principal and interest billing, and then in December, there's interest-only billing. And that's what we have for the board tonight. The final budget number is $169,860. I'm available for any questions.
I'll open this up to a public hearing. Anybody, anything to say about the budget? If not, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for any questions or comments. Board member Alsop.
I move to adopt resolution number R 21 or 2021-02. Can I
wait till he goes to next
Okay.
item? No other questions or comments?
No.
Next item on the agenda is consideration of, I closed the public hearing, sorry. Consideration of resolution number R 2021-02, adopting the final budget and setting the tax levy for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, so if there aren't any further questions from the council, then we're ready for the motion.
Questions? Board member Alsop.
I move to adopt resolution number R 2021-02, adopting the final budget in amount of $169,860.
Got a motion? Councilwoman Wilson, second. All those in favor? Motion passed. All righty, next item on the agenda is consideration of the board minutes of Shoal Buff Community Facilities District. Special meeting June 1st, 2021. I'll entertain a motion for that. Vice Mayor Kakavas made the motion. I need a second. Councilman Wilson, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. There's no other business before this board. I'll adjourn this meeting. Or recess back to our regular meeting. Thank you. If I can find it. Rachel, are you racing me? All righty, next item on the agenda is summary of current events. Council members have any current events? Councilman Alsop.
I just want to talk a little bit about the Meals on Wheels program that's going on in the city of Shoal. We've been revamping that. There's been a lot of new stuff going on. We placed some grants and received some money, but just want to thank Allison for doing some work on my senior center. And she's getting software and stuff for that, and getting 2 computers that was awarded and being installed as we're talking right now. A grant for $4,800 was written and submitted to NACOG and assisted in the Meals on Wheels service to White Mountain Lake. If it's awarded July 1st, 2021, this would include heated transport devices and mailer campaigns, and then we'll be going to White Mountain Lake area and letting them know that we can handle them from the Meals on Wheels program here in Shoal. $20,000 grant has been written and submitted to the NACOG to expand the clientele and volunteer along and provisioning with the communications. The $5 Friday sandwich and soup is being good. If you like to come down to the Meals on Wheels Senior Center, and for $5 every Friday, you get a sandwich, soup, and enjoy with your other friends down there. Denise, that was our administrator, is retired and left, and we're looking for a new one, and one is being appointed. And just want to thank for our new board members, Rachel Sutton and Jim Gerard.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Just a reminder that we are in stage 2 fire restrictions, and so all those community members and visitors, as you're exploring our area, please be safe and careful with our forest and your surroundings. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day to everybody.
And about the stage 2, don't be afraid to turn in your neighbor if they're out there with a fire. No, not me. You don't be afraid to turn in your neighbor, because it's our community. I've had a few phone calls where people are afraid to call it in. You know, we need to report those, especially fires right now. Just a couple things I want to bring up is Friday, I believe at 6 o'clock, we have a few bands playing at Frontier Field. I think we have some awnings out there, so come on in. It starts at 6 o'clock. And I think it runs till 8 or 8:30. I'm not positive. And then Saturday we have a state contest where we did go through the process with the fire department. We're going to have the fire department there. We have 40 teams coming up to cook steaks for everybody. So not for everybody, for the judges. So if you're interested, we got 16 kids competing in the kids queue, which we gave them about 16 ounces of hamburger, and they get to do what they want with it. So it's going to be pretty exciting. I know the kids are pretty excited about it. So if you got nothing to do, come hang out and watch us cook steaks. And hopefully I don't get last. City Manager.
We have a few items tonight in public works projects. Some of you have noticed our contractors began slurry sealing selected city streets this week, and the project's scheduled to be completed June 28th. The schedule's posted on the city's website, although it's subject to change depending on weather, but they're right on schedule right now. The crews, the contractor will notify affected residents 2 days prior to the project beginning in their streets in front of their houses. And it's been going really well. And like I said, they're scheduled to be complete by June 28th. The ADOT Mill and Overlay Project on White Mountain Road and Deusa Clubs has begun with concrete work beginning on the east end of the Deusa Clubs near Shola Ford, heading west. That's a project that's going to last well over a year because they have a lot of improvements in the concrete and intersection improvements at Shola Lake Road. And then they have the mill and overlay of both Deusa Clubs and White Mountain Road. Anyone interested in donating blood, the American Red Cross is sponsoring a blood drive tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Thursday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the City Campus Gym, 620 East McNeil. For more information, you can call 800-733-2767. And to follow up on a couple of, or several things that's going to happen before our next council meeting, the mayor mentioned the steak cook-off and the concert over at Frontier Park on Friday night. Also on June 19th, Shola Ford is hosting the 12th annual Bike the Bluff event. The White Mountains Balloon Festival, that's the balloon festival that Pine Top Lakeside does, will be held June 25th through 27th at Mountain Meadow Recreation Complex on Woodland Lake Road in Lakeside. On July 10th, the Chamber of Commerce will host the Derby Down the Deuce, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. with cash prizes for first, second, third place, and also design prizes. If you're interested in Derby Down the Deuce, you can call 537-2326 for more information. The Recreation Department is accepting registrations for the mini mud run. That's for kids 2 to 10 years old. It'll take place on July 17th at the City Park Senior Field. And information on the city events, 532-4140. And then Shola Main Street's weekly farmers market, Saturday's farmer market and art walk continues from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays at Festival Marketplace through September. The market will be delayed on July 3rd due to the 4th of July parade, and their hours will be from 1 to 5 p.m. on that day. And then our 4th of July festivities will begin Saturday, July 3rd with the annual parade at 9 a.m. on the Deusa Clubs. The wet zone will take place from 11 a.m. till 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Frontier Field. And then at 3 o'clock, the gates open at Shola Football Stadium for the Freedom Fest with music, food vendors, and kids' activities. Our fireworks display will begin at 9 p.m. That'll be weather permitting. And information about traffic detours and a list of events will be on our website. If anything changes, it'll be on our website and we'll get notice out to the community. And that's all I have this evening. Just also a reminder, as Vice Mayor Kakavas stated, we're in stage 2, no campfires, smoking in enclosed buildings and vehicles, and there's other restrictions. If you need more information on that, you can go to the website, www.311info.net. That's 311info.net. And we just need to be extra careful and prevent any fires in our area. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. It's pretty exciting. The other day I went into Safeway and they had all their charcoal and all their wood off the shelf. So they had our stage 2 fire restriction right on it. So that was pretty exciting that they were doing that for us. Next item on the agenda is scheduling of meetings.
The only thing I'll mention is the next meeting scheduled for the council. We don't have the first meeting on the first Tuesday in July, so your next meeting will actually be July 20th.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Enjoy that time off. All righty. Nobody wants seconds. Next item on the agenda is executive session. We'll discuss and consult for legal advice with the city attorney. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session. Vice Mayor Kakavas made the motion. Councilman Adams second. All those in favor? We will now go into executive session. Thank you.
Good job.